it should be something you enjoy, but something you're good at the same time, which has an employability in the real world. So think of it as a Venn diagram. One circle represents everything you enjoy, which in my case was reading, writing essays, articulating your thoughts on paper. And another circle of the Venn diagram being stuff you're good at, which is like writing essays, maybe communicating with people. And that intersection of the Venn diagram is what you should pursue as a degree, which was law for me.
Hello to the viewers at home, ISB-TV here again. Today we have a special interview with a very special guest. Ali, can you please introduce yourself?
Hello everyone. First of all, thank you for having me here. My name is Ali, as my friend just said. I am a graduate from ISB, the class of 2020, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. I'm a second-year law student at Queen Mary University of London. I work part-time at an accountancy firm, and that's generally it about myself.
Speaking of university, can you elaborate on to why you chose law school and respectively your major?
Well, I can't say that it was my dream job since I was a kid, but I like to think of these as turning points in your life and should be treated respectively. So passion is not entirely enough to choose what you want to study in university, and it should be a logical process at the same time. What I mean by that is that it should be something you enjoy, but something you're good at the same time, which has an employability in the real world. So think of it as a Venn diagram. One circle represents everything you enjoy, which in my case was reading, writing essays, articulating your thoughts on paper. And another circle of the Venn diagram being stuff you're good at, which is like writing essays, maybe communicating with people. And that intersection of the Venn diagram is what you should pursue as a degree, which was law for me.
That's very interesting to hear. Can you tell us what IB subjects you had and how do you think they prepared you for law school?
You know, we're limited in the IB subjects we have in ISB, so I didn't get the chance to have global politics or law like other competitors in the world that do IB had. But I tried to choose the closest subjects that I could relate to that would help me build the skill set that I could use in law. So they were subjects like History HL, English Language and Literature. These were actually the only two that I think I chose on purpose, knowing that I'll study law. And the rest, I tried to build it up for like subjects easy enough so I can get the maximum points out of it. Because at the end of the day, you might know universities don't look at which subjects you take, but the overall grade out of the 45 you do get. So that was my perception of how to select subjects and why I chose my subjects.
Yeah, I think many students think the same as you.
How did you find the overall application process for your university?
Well, because I only applied for universities in the UK, there's this platform called UCAS, you might be aware of it. It's a quite easy and ongoing application, so it was an easy process, but we also had many help from our sixth form coordinator, which was Mr. Oytun back then. I think he probably is still the coordinator. Yeah. He guided us through the process. It was just a very swift process, so it wasn't that hard. It was just a personal statement. I had my history teacher that helped me a lot, Mr. Tom Quinn, with the personal statement as well. So I did have support, but it wasn't that hard.
Yes, he is one of our best teachers. Could you elaborate on campus events? How are they like in Queen Mary Law School?
Well, I'm also new to the campus events because I spent 1 year of totally online teaching during my first year, but second year was very active. All the restrictions were over, so we did have many campus events. I can separate them into two sections, the academic activities and the socials. That's how they call it here. Academic activities are aimed at improving your networking and linking you with law firms, especially in the law department. And socials can be going out, going to visit different places around London or outside London. It can be partying, going to a pub, going to a club. Like, you have no restrictions into what activities you do on campus, like in high school, because there's the age difference as well.
Oh, speaking of being social, can you tell us how sociable the student body is like?
Actually, in uni, because the audience, there's so many students, there are over like thousands of students, there isn't one student body. It changes through department to department, and there's societies. These societies can be academic ones or social ones as well. They're like a group of people who want to form a society. You can think of it as the prefect team that you're in right now. And these societies have like head of departments, if you know what I mean. So it is sociable, but it's not like family. The whole school doesn't have a student body. It's different societies. So there's no way you can know everyone in the school, which is a negative to a certain extent. Because coming from ISB, you probably like know all your year group.
Yeah.
I'll never get to know them because only the law department is 350 students, which is already hard to grasp. But besides that, they are very sociable. The societies are sociable instead of the student body.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty reasonable.
So for those who not know, networking is very important in your student life, especially in the university. Can you tell us what are the networking opportunities within your university? As we know that Queen Mary University is a member of UOL. May you please describe us how this collaboration benefits you and the students in there?
Well, first of all, it's a massive collaboration, UOL, University of London collaboration. I think they have about 17 to 18 participants. It increases each year. Universities like UCL, King's College, I think there's Goldsmith, and many others are in this collaboration. And the simplest benefit we can take out of it is using each other's libraries. Like, you wouldn't think it's a massive thing, but changing environment while studying does change the whole attitude you take towards the subject. So I think I use that benefit the most. But besides that, you can also take, if your module allows it, you can also take different subjects, like 1 or 2 subjects from another uni. So next year I'm planning to take media law, which is delivered by UCL. So at the end of the day, in your CV, you have lectures that you've taken from UCL. So I think you can benefit a lot from this UOL group.
Perfect.
Mm-hmm, that's very interesting. What advice would you give to high school students who would like to follow the same path as you?
Oh, I did not think about that question, but to study law, you have to be determined. Determined in the sense that you have to manage your time a lot. You have to be ready to read. Like, if you dislike reading, you can just think of not doing law, because you read pages upon pages, 60, 70 pages per day, which are very information based and can get boring to a certain extent. Besides that, they should probably be social. Try to communicate a lot, because without the language skills, it's hard for you to express yourself in front of an audience, or because in uni you'll also have mock trials, mooting competitions. Well, if you don't think you can express yourself fluently, you can also work on that. And that's pretty much it. Reading and expressing yourself, I'd say, for advice.
Thank you so much.
Let's take a step off the university part for now. Can you please describe to us the social life in UK? What do you do in your free time? Would you recommend it? Would you recommend others to go in other countries? Can you talk to us a bit about this?
I definitely recommend going to another country. This can be Netherlands or the UK, because I was born in Romania as well, so I've always stayed in Romania my entire life. But leaving your comfort zone actually pushes you to do more, because you're more independent. In that sense, I'd recommend it. Plus, in places like Amsterdam or London, these are places that students are very, very densely populated. There's so many students, so it's better to socialize, easier to socialize. You can have more fun in countries or cities like this. Besides that, what I do in my free time, I do have a pretty solid social life. I try to go out quite often. I still play football like I used to I'm in the Queen Mary football team. I'm running for captain. I'll see next year what happens.
Good luck.
I'm also trying to work at the same time because London can be an expensive place to live. You understand that it's expensive once you start living here. I work at an accountancy firm, the Silva Limited, as an accountant, like a minor accountant. And besides that, I am very busy, to be honest.
Yeah,
with
that must be
school,
very
work, and
hectic.
social life.
Well, thank you so much for your time. It was very nice hearing your input, and I'm sure many students will find this very helpful.
Thank you for having me here.
Of course. We as the ISB-TV tell you goodbye.